There once was a village in the middle of nowhere. There was no neighboring towns, there was no sign of other humans. The leader Itan, meaning the chief, had three daughters, Urala, which means hope, Loana, which means beauty, and Ichika, meaning rainbow. But soon his first son would be born, and his wife Emetali, Joy, was about to give birth to the little boy destined named Holana, luck. Around the day before the birth was to take place, the village has been attacked, but no one could see the thieves. It was just air. The chief's beloved wife was taken away by nothing but the wind. Since then, the villagers has not been able to get a good meal or get a good night's sleep or do anything without getting hurt in any way. The bison has stopped running around freely, and it seemed as the gods had chained them at home. It seemed as the world had turned blue with sadness and tears. Urala, Loana, and Ichika couldn't let their village become like this. They needed to find their mother and brother in order to make the world happy again. They agreed on their quest and began to gather supplies for it. The three of them all dragged themselves to the town tailor and asked for 3 good dresses for walking, 3 more for exchange clothes, and 3 of good walking shoes. The tailor agreed to finish it by sundown. The girls thankfully nodded and went to go get more supplies for their trip. Ichika, being the eldest, knew that they should divide their jobs equally. Loana were to pick up their clothes from the tailor, Urala was in charge of getting food, and she herself would get 3 riding horses. Splitting up, Ichika headed to the stables and asked politely for the stable boys for 3 amazing horses. Liati, which means prairie flower, Ashni, which means angel, and Nulawa, which means wish. At first, the stable boy didn't want to lend his 3 best horses to the chief's daughter, but eventually he agreed. On one condition, he said, "You must have them back by the summer solstice." Ichika smiled and replied, "Of course, thank you and farewell." She walked them to a teepee across the town from the stable. She tied the 3 horses to a nearby spruce tree and walked into her home. Already, she knew that her sisters were getting new moccasins, so she decided to make a carrier just for herself. But then she decided to make another for her sisters, of course. Ichika went to the riverside and used a sharp object she found and began cutting the moccasins into larger pieces of leather. She cut little holes along the side and folded the leather into half, making a rectangular object. Ichika weaved strong grass through the holes, tying them together. She smiled at her new invention and tried it out. She put her leftover fabric, some rocks, and a few sticks inside it. All stayed inside the little carrier. Usually she would do a happy jingle dance, but then she was the chief's 12-year-old daughter. She was not allowed to act young and childish. The chief's eldest daughter went to go find her youngest sister, Loana. She had just gotten the dresses and was waiting for her moccasins to be finished. The young girl was picking flowers from a nearby field of peonies, humming a sad tune. Tears swelled in Chica's eyes. Her beautiful sister's song had been too similar for their lives. They needed to save their baby brother. "Lawana!" she called for her sister. Lawana each perked up at the sound of Ichika's voice. "Ichika!" she called back. The 2 sisters hugged, and Lawana gave the dresses to Ichika. "We must wait for Urala to come back," Ichika said. As if on cue, Urala walked towards the sister holding a big bag that smelled of bisons and berries. Loana quickly ran into the tailor's shop and taking their moccasins back. The girls walked back to their home, where tomorrow morning they would begin their quest to find who or what had taken their brother and mother. As the sun rose across the pink sky, Loana was the first to wake and watch the sunrise. She gathered her belongings and used a carrier Chica had made for her. Loana put her lucky rock necklace around her neck, her extra dress inside the carrier, and a few more personal belongings. The youngest sister also packed for her sisters, placing their dresses into the carriers neatly folded. She placed a pink peony on top of Urala's things and a yellow peony for Chica. Swiftly and quietly, Loana set everything for the trip, making sure there would be enough food and it was well kept to have a lot of water, but she didn't know where they would go. North, south, west, east? There was no clue, nothing to look out to find where her brother could be. As she was thinking, her sisters began to wake from their doze. Soon enough, the girls were ready to explore, eager to explore. "Since the wind was blowing north that day, that's the way we should be looking in," Urala said. Ichika hesitantly agreed, as if she thought about it for a while, and thought, "Hey, that's actually a good point." "Tracks," Urala mumbled to herself. "What?" Ichika asked confusedly. Tracks, Urala answered. The girls looked at the ground and there was a long trail of pine cones. Let's go, Luana said. And with that the youngest daughter sped towards the end. Rainbow! The 6-year-old squealed. They reached the end of the rainbow. A little teepee was set near the rainbow with beautiful curves and twirls decorating the other side. A woman went outside, her long black hair flowed to her waist as she was holding a little baby in her arms. Holana, Ichika whispered. Urella nodded. That's our brother! She jumped off her horse and went to go greet the youngest sibling. Emma Tally smiled. Girls, I miss you, she said it happily. As this, they seen each other at breakfast. The families emerged in a large group hug and cooed over Holana. We must get home by the solstice, Ichiko said quickly. I cannot go, Ematali said. Why not? Luana protested. Spirits, Ematali whispered. I cannot cross the border of the river until our entire family is here. We only have 3 days, though, Urala whispered. Ematali! Holana, you're alive! A voice cried. They looked towards the hill, where behind the sun was setting. A shadow sat on a horse rushing towards family. Eton! Cried Ematali. The chief's horse trotted by his family. Eton climbed down and hugged his family, one at a time. We must go, Ematali nodded. Now we can. She settled herself behind her husband as the family returned to their village. During their trip back, Luana thought it was strange how pine cones were a trail to her mother and how bisons adored them. As she was nearing the village, bisons came out from hiding. It seemed as they all stuck their heads from bushes to see and smiled to Luana. Thank you, my guardian, she whispered quietly. She said a little silent prayer to gods, since they would let them safely to their mother. Hence the moment they reached the homeland, Luana called to Ematali. Who took you in the first place? Ematali smiled. The guardian bison. He needed to see if the chief's daughter were brave and determined and as courageous as they thought he were. He took very good care of me and your brother. She paused and kissed Luana on the head. And they certainly were.
Thank you for watching over me. All of the sleepless nights we lay awake. Thank you for knowing when to hold me close and when to let me go. Thank you for every stepping stone.